Hey, this is Rachel from Crackle and Stitch, and this video is going to be a quick and easy tutorial on how to make a tassel out of yarn. Okay, so there are a few different ways you can make a tassel. There is a tassel maker you can buy that's available that's similar to the pom-pom makers, but I don't have one of those and I can still make tassels of all different sizes pretty easily. So what you're going to need to make a tassel without a tassel maker is yarn, obviously. You could also use embroidery threads. Some people use yarn and use a different color here, or use yarn here and embroidery thread around to wrap this part. You could even use multiple colors and kind of layer them here, but I'm just going to use the same color yarn. I have just a basic worsted weight. I think this is acrylic yarn. You will need scissors, and then you're going to need a book. So I just have a funny little cat poem book. I could pee on this. My son thinks this is hilarious. This is a small book. You could use something smaller. You could even maybe stack up some index cards for a smaller one, or you could use a big book. It's up to you and what size you want your tassel. Of course, you can always trim it to make it shorter once you're finished if you want. I am also going to use some painter's tape for a little trick that I saw. You don't have to have painter's tape, but I'll show you how you can use this. And really that's it. You may want to have a crochet hook or tapestry needle on hand to help you pull some yarn through that I'll show you in a minute, but you don't have to have this. So what you're going to do first is you are going to wrap the yarn around your book or other object. And for this one, I'm gonna wrap it about 30 to 40 times. You wanna be kind of neat with it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. If you're wanting to make a longer or thicker tassel, you'll wrap it more times. For a smaller or thinner tassel, you'll wrap it less times. Okay, so I think I did a total of 35 times here. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim my yarn at the bottom, and then I'm going to cut a length of yarn, maybe about 6 inches or so. And this is where you can lift and push your yarn through, or if it helps, this is where you might want to use a crochet hook or tapestry needle just to pull your yarn through, and making sure that you get it underneath all of these threads. Don't go in between them. Make sure that your piece of yarn is under all of them. You can just do that with your hands probably as well. And then pull that toward the top. And you are just gonna tie this in a tight double knot. I like to use a square knot, meaning if I go over the top with the left side first, then for the next side, I'm gonna go over with the right first. And that's just gonna create a stronger knot there. Okay, so I just made sure to tie that double knot very tight in a square knot. And then you could even turn this around when we take it off to hide these, or you can leave them there if you're gonna make a loop and use it to attach to something. That's gonna be up to you, but you can definitely hide that knot in a minute. So what you're gonna do next is shimmy your yarn off of your book. And then this is where if you want to flip it around and hide that knot, I'm just gonna leave it there because I could always use that to tie it onto something. You're done with your book. And then on the opposite end of where you attached your loop that tied everything together, you're just gonna use a pair of scissors and cut through. You do need some sharp scissors here. So don't worry if yours aren't perfect because you're gonna trim it up and even it up in a minute. So the next thing you're going to do is lay everything flat and then take your end of yarn. I still have it attached to my ball of yarn, but you could also use the embroidery thread or a contrasting color of yarn. If you kind of loop the edge like this, lay it on there and then start wrapping. Okay, so you see one end has the loose end and one end has the loop. And you're just gonna keep wrapping as much or as little as you want. Okay, so once you've got it wrapped to your liking, you will cut the end of your yarn. You will pass it through the loop, and then you will pull this other loose end. That's going to attach your yarn, and it's going to hide it up under here. Then that can just kind of blend in down here, and the top piece, you can cut it short. Now, I will say I just recently started doing tassels this way. I used to just keep a regular end and tie them together in another double knot and then try my best to hide it under the edges, but sometimes my knot would show. I like how this hides it, and so far it's held up well for me. And then you're almost done. The last thing there is to do is to just trim up the ends of your tassel. Now, you can just trim them up by sight like you're trimming some bangs. Or the other trick I found out, and this is where the painter's tape comes in, is to take a piece of painter's tape and pull everything nice and straight, and then wrap your painter's tape, and then use that to get a nice straight end. And that makes it so easy. And then you could always go and trim a little more if you want. For some yarns, it helps to steam block them just the way you would a finished piece of knitting or crochet, but this one's laying pretty flat as is. And that's just a quick and easy way to make a tassel. I do use one of these on my Dogwood Blossom crossbody bag that I'm also gonna be posting a video on. I made a white one to match that bag and just hang it for decoration. But you can use these for all kinds of things. You can make little ones and put them on the corners of pillows. You could even make multiple tassels and hang them in a garland. You could even do different colors like for the holidays or for a birthday party. They're really cute. So yeah, if you like this video or found it helpful, please make sure to hit a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials in the future. And yeah, thanks for watching.